There we go. Okay, perfect. All right. Hey, everyone. Thank you for bearing with me as I deal with some technical difficulties here. Super excited to have Cheryl on today. She is a psychic, a medium, and intuitive healer. I've had the honor of doing a session with Cheryl, and I have another one on Tuesday, which I'm really excited for. Um, Absolutely incredible information that comes through with the session with Cheryl. And I'm going to hand it over to you and let you kind of give a brief synopsis on how you got into doing the work that you're doing, and yeah, what kind of led you here and what it is that you do.
So I'm going to try and keep it as short as I can. So when I was a little girl on the farm in Montana, I would just be out, playing with the chickens in the chicken coop, and I'd be chatting away with someone. And I'd come in, and I was raised in a very Catholic home. And it's quite interesting to me to look now from a recovering Catholic at how Catholicism really impacted who I am. So I went inside and I talked to my mom and said, when you talk to God, and she immediately cut me off and said, we can't talk to God, that only the priest can talk to God. Meanwhile, I was just out with the chickens and chatting with whoever was God at that moment in a little 3-year-old's head. So I turned it off, but all through my life, I've always been really intuitive. I've always been psychic. My son, when we left his father, when he was 9, he cracked open and became very psychic. He would say things like, Mom, I couldn't sleep last night because these 2 little kids were standing next to my bed and wanted to talk to me. I was like, what do you mean 2 little kids? What? And they were spirits that wanted to talk to him. Or he'd say things like, we're out at a restaurant, and he'll be like, do you see that little boy with his head missing over there? And I'd be like, no, baby, there's no little boy with a head missing over there. He's like, don't look at him, he'll see us. And he's hiding behind me. So this was before I was really, that was intense. That was intense to not know how to support a child that's experiencing this. Like, he'd come home from school and say, on my walk home, I was fighting these demons. And he'd talk about the demons he fought. Or he'd like, Mom, come with me really quick. We need to go sit in the living room. We have to talk to Archangel Michael right now.
Wow.
And, that was intense. And then shortly after that, I would say within a year after that, I started really waking up myself, like really being, my psychic abilities really started kicking in. What pushed me, I went to psychic school. Actually, I attended for a year here in Boulder, for a year in the clairvoyant program. And I did that because I get woken up at night to like somebody talking really loud in my ear, and I jolt out of bed and be like, whoa, what? And then they'd say it again and hold things up and be like, did you hear that? Did you understand me? And I'd be like, I'm sleeping, what?
You needed a way to somehow control it, or at least be able to tune your station as you needed to, kind of thing, and tune your frequency.
Exactly.
So, hey Lauren, hey Nusrat, thank you for joining us today. We got a couple people saying hello. Go ahead.
Hello. Hello, welcome. Yeah, so I attended psychic school, and then COVID happened, and suddenly my abilities are just amazing. I didn't know I was a medium until I was giving a session to some sweet lady in India, and her mom was in the background and said, ask if she can talk to your father. And then there he was, and we were having a conversation. So that was how my mediumship started. And and he was really pushy. That was the first time, and he followed me around. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm going in my house to take a shower now. You have to go. And he's like chatting with me. So since then, I really figured it out. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Interesting that you were saying how you were having these abilities even as a young kid, which I think is true for a lot of us, that we have these things as kids, but then we suppress them because we don't understand them, or it's not socially acceptable, or we're afraid of it. And then later on in life, these things start to come back online, and you're like, oh my gosh, I remember I used to be able to do this when I was a kid, or I had these experiences then when I was a kid. So it's natural to a lot of us to be able, or I think all of us, to be able to do this. And yet, yeah, it's just all about learning how to harness it and control it, and use it intentionally, as well as setting boundaries, and so you're not getting bombarded with energy all the time. But yeah.
Or you touch somebody and you pick up their childhood traumas, and yeah. So I'm I don't know what to call myself. I'm Cheryl, and I do energy work, and I talk to beings and aliens, and I'm also a nanny. And part of what I really is my purpose here on the planet is to work with children. The nanny family I'm with recently, their dog had a seizure, and they found out that he had a very large brain tumor, this big, and they didn't know if he would make it through the night, if he would live 2 days. And so when the family left, I sat down on the floor with him and the little girl, 2.5-year-old, and I sat down and I did a healing on him. I just engaged, intuitively engaged my hand chakras and spoke with him, and he spoke with me, and he asked if he was going to die, and we just had a conversation about it, and I explained to him he needs to learn how to use his brain again, and if you die, it's okay. It's okay. And so I showed him how to move his energy through his body, and then I shut my hand chakras off, and the little girl came over and I had no idea she was sitting next to me, and she whispers, "The light turned off." And I said, "What?" She said, "The light turned off. The gold light, like the fishy." So they have a gold fish, like a sparkly gold fish up on their mantle. And so when I do healings, I channel gold energy. And so she saw it. It was really cool. And then later on, I did another healing with her, and she joined me. And we did a healing. The mom was there, and she took a really sweet picture of little girl sitting next to me, engaging her hands. I teach the older girl as well how to engage her hands, and her and I do healings on each other, and mom and the dog, and yeah, the 5-year-old and I. Yeah, so I always do want to work with children. It would be like my dream to open a psychic kids school, and my boys are 20 and 27, and they're like, so what you're saying is you want to open up a school like Xavier and X-Men, and I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be awesome. And you have a background in teaching too, so it would be perfect for you.
It would absolutely. I mean, I came to this planet to be a teacher. I did the solstice channeling. I channeled a very tall, white, light gray. And he showed me how I came to this planet the first time. And I've always been coming as a teacher. And so I'm here to teach. I mean, my purpose is really to teach anybody who's open to receive, to teach anybody who is ready to move into a higher vibration that we're ascending into. We're moving up to 5D. As I channeled during Shelter in Place, I channeled a lot about how to release our lower traumas, our ancestral karma, our childhood traumas, our past life karma. And that's really what I base my business off of, is like helping people to see where those lower frequency traumas are holding us back from ascending into the higher vibration. I mean, and that's what I focus my sessions on. Because you had one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super cool.
Yeah, super cool. And you were able to like channel a diet for me. That was
yes,
awesome. And I've been doing it for the last what day am I on now? I think I'm on day 9.
Nice.
It's funny because I totally cheated last night and I had a chili relleno, and I waited too long to eat yesterday, and I was like, oh, I'm so hungry now. I was working so much, and I was like, all right, I just need to go grab something and eat something. And so I went and picked up a chili relleno. And this morning, like, my whole face is like swollen a little bit, and I can feel it in my throat. And it's funny when you haven't ate food like that in a while, and then you go to eat it and you're on a cleanse. It's like your body is actually signaling that this isn't good for you. Like, this isn't a high frequency food. So it was kind of nice to have that contrast and actually be able to see what was happening as a result of not eating these foods. And yeah, it's only inspiring me more to get back on the bandwagon and
even more. You got to drink this green stuff.
Yep. I'm
green stuff.
Make one right after this, actually.
Yeah, I after connecting with Ryan, the gray, I channeled like high frequency foods, and I was just so like, high frequency foods. Everybody needs to know they need high frequency foods because we're becoming more light. We're ascending. We're becoming light beings more and more, and we need more liquids.
Right.
So I don't know if anybody on here is following me or if they're on my Facebook or Instagram. I posted videos and stuff, or reach out to me personally. I'm happy to send you like what I channeled. For me, I lost 10 pounds and I gained 10 years in energy. Like, I used to wake up achy and stiff. I'm like, oh, I'm just getting old. And now I'm like, no way, I'm not old. I wake up charged, and I drink, the warm water with citrus, and then I hit my smoothie and have energy all day long. Like, I used to be a person who had to have 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night. Mm-hmm. I'm now working with like 6 and 7, and I feel amazing. So it's really important to have high frequency foods in our diets. There's, as you feel better. That chili relleno was like, girl, what you doing?
Oh, that's hilarious.
But I'd eat pizza too, so I get it.
I mean, we're here to enjoy it too, so you gotta enjoy life, and you gotta enjoy the pleasures and all of the sensations and all of that, but everything in moderation, including moderation.
Yep, the middle path. Buddha was right. Yep. I have a friend who's very high vibe, and he's like, I came here for the food. That's what I came here for. Which is like, yeah, as a human, this is such a beautiful experience. We got to have the opportunity, this is just blows me away. We are here now in the Great Ascension. Like, we have done some amazing work to have the opportunity to be a human in a body right now during the Great Ascension. Like, this is big work. This is kudos to all of you humans out there. Yay, you're here. This time during what's like, as a human, there's no other time you get to experience all of the intensity of the feelings. This is a feeling planet, like tasting, smelling, sacred sex, like all of that, like sadness. I just made a post yesterday about frustration and some of of course the best lessons come through with the biggest lessons, the biggest pain, because pain pushes us through our comfort that we like to be as humans, as our ego does for us, keep us safe, keep us comfortable. But meanwhile, we just want to learn and grow and push.
Experience.
The session I gave last night, the girl was like, yeah, her guides were like, girl, you got to move. You got to do this. Stop lounging around. Stop doing this. You've got a purpose. You're supposed to be a life coach. You've done the training. Why haven't you done this? And then after the session, she's like, I'm really glad to hear that because I've been feeling that. And I said, yeah, your guides are sassy. They want you to get after it, girl. And so she left, she ended the session supercharged. And yeah, awesome. Sessions are fun. They can be deep though too. They can be really heavy work if you have dark karma. If you have some dark karma to work through, you know, we don't always want to hear it, but the truth is we have to embrace our dark as well as our light, because as above, so below. You know, you can't have the light without the dark. You can't have the joy unless you know pain. It's just black and white. It's what we are on this planet.
And
this
also,
is part of our agreement.
Yeah, and understanding the dark karma or negative karma that you have and how it's contributing to certain patterns of behavior also is going to help illuminate that and actually shine light on that darkness, so therefore you can transmute it. But if you don't understand where it's coming from, or it's just this pattern that keeps replaying and you're like, why does this keep happening, and you feel like a victim, but once you understand and you can actually step into that role of being like, oh, this is why this is happening, and it'll actually like resonate with you on a deep soul level, and then you're able to heal that because now you know where it's coming from. So it's incredibly important work, even if it isn't always, you know, butterflies and rainbows. It's you still have to understand like the full scope of it and what's coming up and why. So yeah, really.
Yeah, I feel so honored that this is something that I'm here to help people with. Like, to me, this is big work. This is big work. And I feel so honored every time that somebody comes to do a session with me, because they're allowing me to look into their Akashic records. Like, I get to look at their Akashic records, and I get to look like at their soul's life, like all the way back from when they came this little light being, all the way into the future to where they are this expansiveness that they are. Like, that's so cool. Or to get to look this, I'm referencing the session again I did last night. She had past lives. They just flowed into each other and flowed into each other. Mm-hmm. And I was like, girl, you got big work. You have not released this karma yet. This life and this life and this life and this life, I said, they're all culminating in you right now at this moment, so that you can have that karma pop, release, and ascend. Like, it's big. She had 4 past lives that just kind of rolled into each other. I'd never seen so much, but she's got a big high soul. And it was beautiful to see. And at the end, she was like, this isn't anything I didn't know. And I was like, yeah, we're here to remind ourselves. We're here to remind each other.
To remember too. Yeah.
We come in knowing everything. We just forget. That's part of the game. That's part of the fun of being a human. We get to remember it all. Yeah. It's just so joyful, so joyful.
And it's such an incredible feeling when you actually start to have these memories, or even like doing these sessions and this information comes through, because you're just like, I know, I get it. Like I did a meditation, I think it was last week, and it was a Lemurian meditation going back into a past life in Lemuria. And I kept having dreams my whole entire life of this tsunami. And I was terrified of tsunamis. And I finally like pieced it together. And that's how I died in Lemuria, was the tsunami. And I'm like, oh, like the moment it clicked, I'm like, that makes sense. You know, and you're able to piece it all together. And now that fear has no hold over me, because now I don't think it's some prophecy that I'm seeing and how I'm going to die in this lifetime. I'm like, oh, I was tapping into a past life and I'm still holding energy from that. So it's time to let it go. Yeah. And so it's like this immediate transformation, and you no longer are like holding all of that stagnant energy and that fear and that, you know,
it doesn't hold you down. It doesn't keep you in the lower frequency. Now you're able to ascend into the higher frequency. Which led me to wonder, like, last time we talked, you had talked about your channeling wasn't very clear. And I was talking to you about how you can dial those in.
Right.
Did you have an opportunity to play with that yet?
I haven't. I'm actually going to start practicing channeling this week, because now that I've been on the high frequency diet for a while,
yes,
I'm like, I feel like my channel is going to be a lot more clear. So I'm excited to actually dial it in. But I was sharing that information with someone in the group coaching yesterday, actually.
Oh, right on.
So Allie's here. Yeah, I was just sharing that with her yesterday too about dialing things back or dialing things up.
Yes, within our chakras, we have dials within our chakras. And when you channel something, like when I was channeling Ryan, he was white light, and I'd never channeled white light before. It's very high frequency, and it can cause you to become unconscious. And so I had been channeling it for a few minutes, and I felt like throwing up, like I felt very nauseous. So I took a step back, and I spoke with him, and I said, your frequency is too high. You're giving me too much. Can you dial it in? And so he dialed it in from his end, and I dialed it in through my chakras. And I intentionally set the frequency to be more acceptable through my energy, because it's like plugging your socket into the wrong frequency. Like you should not go to India and plug your hair dryer into their socket, because it'll blow up.
Yep.
So it's the same thing. You need to dial it in. You need to have a voltage adapter. And that's what our chakras are. Just adjust them. You can ask for them. Like I was talking to, when I was at Grand Lake with the Nanny family, there was tree spirit and a fairy spirit that came to speak with me at night on the astral, and I couldn't understand them. And I was like, I don't understand you. I don't understand you. And so I said, let's dial it in through the language frequency. And so all three of us dialed it in, and then all three of us could speak together. Because it was just, I was hearing the fairy just at a high screech. And I was like, I can't understand you. I know you're talking to me. I know you have things to say to me, but I can't get you. And then we dialed it in, and I received a message, and it's just a matter of talking to them and then attuning yourself, because we all have these abilities to do this. We just don't know how. We just don't know how, because that's part of the fun of being a human. We agree to forget so that we get to play on this amazing planet and get to learn the connection to source, to get to learn we can talk to all these beings. It's a grand play. It's a grand play.
It sure is. Yeah. I always refer to it as a video game.
Yeah. I had somebody else say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I say leveling up. I tell people you're leveling up, like somebody, who was this? Oh, I just got a mentor. I just got somebody new in my mentorship. Oh. And I told her, I'm like, you're ready to level up, sister, maybe even 2 times, but you are so ready. And she's like, look what I just wrote in my journal before I talked to you, Cheryl. And she said, I am ready. And I was like, girl, you are. Let's level you up. And so we're doing she signed up for a mentorship program, and I'm super excited. Super excited.
Perfect gateway. Let's talk about what you offer. Let's talk about some of your services.
So having my background being, I was an elementary ed teacher, as well as a preschool teacher and director. And so to me, I want to teach, I want to share. I've done learning circles before, in which you can sign up and come together, probably pretty close to what you do on your coaching. Okay. And you have an opportunity to chime in there sometime. Yeah. But I offer like learning circles where we come together as a group, and I'll have a topic and we'll practice that, and I'll give you homework, so you have tools to work on at home, and then I provide support. And then within the mentorship, it's more self-led, where the circles are more of a group process with a theme. And then we do together no more than 10, because we don't need more than 10 people. I like it to be at 7 because it's such a sacred number. And then 10, it can be as high as that, which would be 11 with me. But the mentorship is more self-directed. Like the woman who signed up, we talked about a beautiful connection she's working on right now, because she broke her leg. And so she's got a karma pop. So when you hurt your body, you get a karma pop. So she's got a really bad break. And I was like, let's look at that. When you have body pains and traumas, we look at that. And so that was her focus. She's got a karma pop going on with her partner, because in a past life, she broke her leg with him then on a horse riding accident. And she broke her leg now on a ski accident, and I was explaining like how it happened in the past life. I said, you came to an abrupt stop for some reason. The horse stopped abruptly. It pitched you out and you broke your leg. And she's like, oh my God, that's how I broke my leg now. She said, I came to this abrupt stop. I pitched out over my skis and I broke my leg. And she said, and it's the same, oh, I have goosebumps again. And it's the same reasoning for the same situation as it was with them. And I said, good. And then she messaged me. She's like, oh my God, Cheryl, this. And I was like, yes, you're connecting the dots. You're connecting the dots. Because as we release and ascend, it becomes more easily to see within the matrix. You connect the dots.
Synchronicities are the way of like the universe's way of saying, hey, you're on the right track. And it's like things just keep aligning and you're like, what? And then you meet somebody and they have similar.
Oh.
And it's just wild. It's like it becomes this fairy tale where you're just constantly on these quests of synchronicities and you're like, well, this happened. I got to follow this and see how far that goes. And then, life has become so much fun ever since this.
It's the grace. It's when you surrender and allow things to flow, grace is able to come in and then you can just surrender to the grace that is. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I didn't get to explain to you what my whole love is. I got too excited about like the mentorship. So I offer sessions. Like that's really what I keep hearing over and over is where my most value is one-on-one sessions, because what I keep hearing is when one is healed, we're all healed. When one person ascends, we are all ascending because we are all, as Ryan said, symbiotic osmosis. We are all so intricate in what's the word?
Integral?
Integrally, maybe? I don't know. So we're so connected, so intimately connected that we're just evolving together and moving up together. It's so it's my honor to be, here is my purpose to help people work through their lower frequencies that are holding them back, whether it be in their body or
interconnected. Is that the word that you're looking
at? Symbiotic osmosis. Where is that little note I have? Like symbiotic osmosis says it all to me. Like symbiotic is an interdependent relationship. And osmosis is or gradual absorption or mingling. Like this is what we are. This is what happens. And there you are in the gorgeous light.
Oh, it does it every time I talk to you. It's funny because it's always cloudy in Oregon. And then whenever I talk to you, I get these light codes coming through. She's an activator.
We are light. We are light. You are ascending, sister. You are becoming more and more of a light being as we speak right now. As you do your cleanse and do all of your work.
I've been doing so good on this cleanse.
Oh, you do.
Highly recommend you guys reach out to her and find out about these high frequency foods because absolutely incredible. I've been doing it for 8 days now and I feel so good. I mean, today's an exception because I cheated last night, but I'm feeling the difference and that's also just as great to have that.
Once you have that green smoothie, that's going to clear out all that stuff because that night I had pizza, I woke up and I was like, oh. Yeah, let me get my smoothie and get that crap out of there. And then it sets you because it's so high vibe. So high vibe. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And I've been raking my water. So I've been like infusing all of my water with Reiki. Like I highly recommend, Cheryl was teaching me about that. Highly recommend doing that as well because it just allows your water to be high vibe as well and high frequency, and it just I've even been doing it for my pets.
Oh, you have! Yay!
Yeah.
We all have these abilities. Everything that I do, the mediumship, the engagement of the hand chakras and the healings, the connection to beings, to aliens, to people who have left their bodies. We all have this ability. It's just part of the game that we forgot. It's just part of the fun so that we can come back around and realize how powerful we are. We can heal ourselves. We have the ability to heal ourselves. And it's just, we forget as part of the agreement that coming through this planet.
Right.
I keep thinking, what keeps coming in, I want to share this really cool story with you. I love being a medium. It's super cool. So I have been friends with it's a family friend since I was 4 years old. And my girlfriend and I have been friends since we were 4. And her dad recently passed away. I think it's been 3.5 months now. So her dad passed away. So I'm on the phone talking to her, and I'm like, how are you doing? How's mom? Because we called each other's parents mom and dad because they were friends and we grew up together. And I'd be like, how's mom? And she's like, she's okay. She's okay. She's like, hold on. I hear something. I hope mom didn't fall. So she disappears. She comes back and she's like, oh, I don't get it. It's that damn container on the dryer. It's sitting in the middle of the dryer and it falls off. She said, somebody brought us some caramel rolls, which is, the yummiest thing you could ever have. If you ever go up north to Montana and North Dakota, it's like heaven. So somebody brought over some caramel rolls and the package was sitting on the dryer. And she's like, it keeps falling and I don't get it. I don't get it. And I said, do you think it's your dad? Do you think it's dad? I said, did he I wonder if he crossed over. Since I've been a medium, since April, I have helped about 6 people cross over. Nice. For whatever reasons, people get stuck in a pain loop and they don't cross over, or the light didn't come. So for him, I looked at it and he was standing there kicking the washer. He was so angry. He was kicking the washer and kicking the washer and kicking the washer. And so that's why the box kept falling off, because he was so angry. He was so angry about the light. I'll just say it like he said it. He's like, I'm so pissed. I'm like, George, what's going on? Because George was the person who always held himself poised. He was very poised. Very like, this is my life. This is my life. I'm doing this. This is my life. But he was so brilliant and he had this desire within him that wasn't able to be fed because he was a farmer in North Dakota. And so he had this desire to be an engineer, to work in space flight. And the opportunity just didn't come. He stayed to be a farmer. And so he was frustrated and angry about that. So he was kicking the washer. He was like, I got cheated on this life. This sucked. And then the light didn't even show up. I can't even go to the light. And I was like, what do you mean, George? You didn't see the light? And he's like, no, the light didn't come. And I'm so mad. And he's like, kicking the washer, kicking. And I was like, George, chill, dude. It's all good. Let's find the light for you. And so I called in some light. So anybody can do this anytime you're having a being that is around you that you don't want, you're having, you're feeling uncomfortable, you just ask source to bring in a golden light, and it's like a vacuum. I can't help but just be like, shoom. I was like, let's call in the golden light for you, George. And he was like, okay. And so light came in. I saw a beautiful angelic being come in, and they went up together. And this is why I want to share this story, because this is super freaking cool. So as he's ascending, he turned into a 3-year-old little boy, which I'd never seen before.
Interesting.
And I asked my friend, I was like, what happened to George when he was 3? She said, she was like, let me get back to you. So she talked to her sister, and her sister's like, yeah, he was in an abusive home. At age 3, he started defending his mother. So he reverted in his state.
Chills upon chills.
Yeah, cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he became 3 years old again, to where the trauma started, to where the healing needed to begin. Wow. And so I would check in on him because I was just curious. You should never bother somebody who has just passed over. They need at least 3 months to just to be healing from this life, healing and integration of the karma. So so I saw him at 3, and then I checked in later. He's 3, so he's healing the 3-year-old pain. The abuse that he experienced as a little boy and needing to defend his mother from his father at 3. Like, whoa, no wonder he's pissed and kicking that washer. I'd be pissed too.
Yeah.
And so So I checked in on him again, and then I saw him really stuck in his 20s. And I was like, what? Hey, girlfriend, what's going on in the 20s? And she was like, yeah, that's when he became a father the first time. That's when he surrendered to being a farmer. I was like, oh yeah, he's been there a while. And then the mid 30s, it was like he was stuck there a bit because I just pop in and check on him, see what's going on. And it was really fascinating to see. And then my girlfriend reached out to me and she's like, okay, it's been 3.5 months. Can we talk to George? and I was like, we can ask George because it's their choice. This planet is a free will planet and we have the option to say no at any time. And so George was like, yes, I want to chat a little bit. Oh my God, I forgot this cool part. So her mom has been in the hospital since the funeral with COVID. Mm. And yeah. And so I check in on him and he's standing next to his wife's bed in the hospital. And I'm seeing energy bounce from his hands into her, this golden light. And I was like, oh, George, what are you doing? That's really interesting. Usually I see the golden healing light come from hands and beam into them. And he's like, I'm just learning. So he didn't know how to channel from his hands yet. So he was still bouncing it. So it was super cool to see like this being learning to channel golden healing light into his wife who has COVID in the hospital. And I mean, amazing stuff. Yes, he's standing by her bed, channeling golden light into her. Like the story is just multi-layered beauty. And
the universe really is that way. I mean, all of my loved ones that have passed on, for the most part, I've been able to connect with. And my dad passed back in 2018. And he's actually like one of my guides, and he's an Arcturian now, which is just like blows my mind. But it also makes sense. And everyone else in my family that are, now in these, other realms, so to speak, or these other places in the galaxy, but yet where they're located makes perfect sense. And even the like quests they've given me and things like that, like they fit who they are, and at least who they were as a human. And so it sounds crazy to someone that's like looking in from the outside, that isn't aware of all of this. But once you start unraveling all of this information, the level of resonance that it has just gives you this childlike sense of awe and wonder, and brings you to this place of like complete surrender and unadulterated joy. Like it almost makes me want to tear up, the way that I've like seen things unravel and how our guides interact with us and who they actually are. It's incredible. It's incredible.
It's so incredible, and I often do cry.
I'm like starting to tear up right now too. Yeah.
as you saw me when I came out of the channeling that I did on Solstice. Oh, which reminds me, I want to do more. I want to do more channelings. I want to, however I can get my information out to people. I want to do more channelings because it's so beautiful, the messages that came through. Yeah, when I disconnected at the channeling, I just had this complete appreciation for being a human in a body and having this life experience. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable what we get to do. This sheer grandeur of being a human. Yeah, I want to do more group channelings like that because it was very profound for me.
We should host an event.
Like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I don't
know that my circuits could handle once a month. I'm still integration from the solstice.
Well, whatever's comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted probably in April, maybe. I have the psychic fair coming up. If you live in Colorado, come to the psychic fair. I'm going to have my I'm going to talk about everything that I channeled about our ascension, kind of what I talked about a little bit. I'm going to talk about that. And then the fact of what's happening now, like since previous to the solstice, we were being pushed to ascend by light. Like we're being pushed, like, do this, come on humans, you can do this, come on humans. And then at the solstice, there's like, all right, peeps, you've been fucking around too long. Now you're getting pushed by darkness. And so they're just like pushing us hard by darkness. And that's
what do you mean by darkness? Like, what is that? You're saying that we're getting pushed by darkness. Do you mean like our darkness, our shadow self is coming to the surface to be integrated? Okay.
To be healed and released so that, so that we can be healed and released and ascend. Because we can't ascend if we have all these lower frequency traumas. If those are stuck in our being, we are not able to be light. So we're being pushed. There's going to be a lot of people who are experiencing cognitive dissonance. We're going to be shaken to our core so that we become awake, so that we become aware of what we need to work on. What is our shadow side that is not healed? What is our lower frequencies that we're holding on to so that we can't evolve? Whether that be showing up in body pain, losing your job, what are other ways that you're being pushed? Like
traumas, triggers.
A trigger is a gift. Oh my God, that trigger, the trigger that you gift, that is the best gift. Oh my God, I'm so triggered. Yes, evolve, shake that stuff out, shake it out. Come on, release it. Go, 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 go. Release and ascend, release and ascend. Like,
that's why I always say the same thing too, is like, if you're getting triggered, meet it with excitement, because basically it's your higher self saying, hey, you're ready to integrate this now. You're at a good place to integrate this. So that's why you're having this experience now. And it's really, when you would meet it with that level of excitement and willingness to, it makes it so much easier. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm getting triggered. This is the belief that's coming up. Oh, that's not true. Cool, I can move on with my day. And it becomes a faster process where you're able to just transmute that negative energy so much faster and keep your vibration high. And great point.
So beautiful. And something that I do when I give a session is when those darknesses come through, those traumas that need to be healed, it always comes through with a healing plan. It always comes through with a healing plan. You can get anywhere from 3 to 5 ways to heal that lower trauma that you're trying to release. It could be anywhere from, I did a session early in the week where this woman needed to burn a black candle for X amount of days and say this mantra every time she lights the candle. And then at this day, she lights a white candle. So she's still lighting the black candle because she's not able to find a partner. She's stuck in the karma from her past life where she is afraid because she was severely abused. She was beat terribly in a past life. And through that trauma, she's afraid to have partnership in this life. So she doesn't have a partner and she's never really had one. So through this, we were able to look at that trauma. And so one of her healing plans, her homework, is to light this black candle, say this mantra for X amount of days. And then at this day, she continues lighting this black candle, but she integrates a white candle. When she integrates the white candle, she starts saying this mantra as well. And so she's lighting this for X amount of days. The black candle's done. The white candle begins. And then there's things going on within all of that happen. Like that's one of the things, the girl last night, she's feeling, she's healing ancestral womb wounds. So her ancestry has dealt with a lot of sexual abuse, rapes, this kind of thing. And there's wounding within her womb that is down from generation to generation, and she's carrying that, and she has agreed to heal it in this lifetime. And I would say that this right now, I got goosebumps, this right now is a commonality that's going on. A lot of the women, and I'm saying women because I haven't experienced this with men, but I can't not to say that men are not healing this as well, but women, because of our ascension into the female frequency, are healing the traumas of ancestors through the wound. I call it comes through as a womb wound. Say that 5. Womb wound. And so she was given this this homework of like, when you have your cycle, the next time you have your cycle, she has a cat that is a roommate. Invite the cat to come over and sit with you, because the cat came forward as a healer. So I was giving her this, and the cat came forward and is like, I want to help her heal. So she has an activity when she has her cycle of like inviting the cat to come with her, to sit with her, and then when they heal together. So the cat, it's like this beautiful.
That's really cool.
Right? Yeah, and she's like, oh, I've always known he's a healer. He's such a healer. And I was like, yeah, invite him to sit next to you, to sit close to your womb, and you two heal together, because I received the message of how protective they are, so that he'll be holding space for her as a cat is holding space for her, so that she is allowing through her flow of her cycle to release the past traumas, to release the ancestral trauma, and heal and ascend and heal and ascend. And she's like, yeah, I'm not going to have children because of this. And I was like, baby, have children. You are going to be amazing. Your children are going to be amazing. Heal these wounds. Heal your wounds, so that the being that comes through your body is amazing high frequency, because it's people like you that need to bring life into the world to help us ascend. I mean, those are the kind of things that are like work to do. And it could be stuff like journal, free write, or I don't know. Did I give you one?
No, you gave me the diet, because I'm not super clairvoyant. All of my clairs are online except for the clairvoyance. And so you gave me the diet, but you also said it was gonna, I was already intuitively going to Shasta for the full moon, and then you said that by going there, we're going, like, there's also some activations that I'll be receiving, and you also saw my womb as like a sapphire blue.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Then you also, the IUD, getting my IUD out too. So all
the wound heal, wounds. Like, I bet you if you talk to ancestors, there's some womb wounds that need to be healed. Like, who doesn't have womb healing traumas? Like, this is the divine feminine that we're healing right now. This is big work. We are changing our planet right now. We are healing all that trauma. Yay! Heal and ascend.
I love it. So I'm gonna, let's see, we're coming right up on an hour here. Okay. Do you have any like final thoughts or anything that you would like to share?
Yeah, I had pages. I had pages and pages. But I mean, I trust the divine source energy that comes through us all. So I know what I said and how I said it was clear. I want to know that everybody who wants to come to me and connect to me, please do. Like, I don't know if how they connect to me, if there's a way that you've posted that they can connect to me. I'm not sure if my website is up there, or if
I'll put all the details in this as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So when I actually go back through and edit it, I'll put all of the contact information for you. And then, the video will also be available in the unit section in the group, or now they've switched it to guides instead of units. But and then there's a featured healers section, and the video will be there with all of your contact information. But if you
want me to give a shout out? So here, let me pull this. I made this for the last psychic fair, and I'm so proud because it says, because my first and last name are very interesting. So this is my website. This is how you can find me. This is how you spell my name. I took my mom's last name when I left my second abusive marriage, because when she died, she went into my body. She came out of the coffin as that white smoke, and she went into my body, and I became unconscious for 15 minutes.
Wow.
So she was really a big part of my awakening process. Through that experience, that gave me an awakening opportunity. I was unconscious for 15 minutes and I woke up to my own wailing, off to the side of the room in my sister's arms. And my sister and I aren't close. And so, yeah. And so through that awakening, I decided to honor her by taking her last name. So yeah, that was a beautiful experience. Beautiful.
That's funny that you say that. So something similar happened with me with my dad. He didn't come into my body in that way. But it was right after he passed. I was really, really struggling emotionally because him and I had become really close. And we had a really rough relationship growing up. He struggled with addiction and that ultimately ended up taking his life. But I started doing this 30-day meditation that just randomly fell in my lap. Like friend requested me on Facebook and they were an Akashic trance work practitioner, and they had a free 30-day meditation that was really learning how to traverse the astral. And that was the first time I ever had an experience with a past life, like alien version of myself. And I wasn't really super into aliens or anything. And so I was like, what the heck is this? But it just catapulted me into my own awakening and really understanding my cosmic place in the universe. And I actually have a tattoo that I got for him, which I don't know if you can see it, but it's a sea turtle, and he loved sea turtles. And in the middle is the light to like the pathway to go to the other side. But
oh, wow.
He actually is my guide to help me with emotional intelligence. And like whenever I'm feeling really heightened emotionally, like one of his favorite songs will come on the radio or something random, and it's like he's so much a part of my life now after he's passed. And I'm like tearing up a little bit, but it's like, it is so beautiful. And I've heard this from other people as well. Is like they're connecting with their parents or their close loved ones through meditation with guides, and it's so freaking cool.
We're in such a beautiful time. We're in such a beautiful time. The last time I talked with my mom, it was really cool. So I'm in my house and I'm doing this, busy. And my mom comes over. My mom comes into my awareness and she says, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry I did that to you. So in the back of our mind, there's always something playing. So in the back of my mind was some trauma that I was reliving, because that's what ego does. That's what ego's for. It's to protect us, to keep us safe. And so in the back of my mind, I'm remembering this trauma from childhood. And she said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did that. And I said, oh, Mom, I've forgiven you a long time ago. And she said, but you're still holding on to it. And I said, oh, thank you for the reminder. And then Jesus comes in. And so Jesus is there, and Jesus always shows me like a story. Like he doesn't talk with words. Jesus shows me a story.
That too. When I've connected with him, I've seen this exact same thing. I get these visuals like he was showing me. Oh my God, this is blowing my mind. Yeah, so I've only connected with Jesus once, but he showed me what it was like when I what was it? When I react to something, how I'm like energetically, I'm pushing the other person away, and showed me this image of like energetically how I'm like pushing and creating this distance between myself and someone else by choosing to react instead of responding to something. And it's a way of like, get away from me, I'm being triggered. And it was really, really fascinating. It was a very like simple message, but I love that you said that.
I mean, but it is all simple, because as we ascend, this is something that I received that's a beautiful message. I'm aware of the time, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
So I received the message, many people have been like, Jesus is coming, it's time for Christ to reappear. And the message I received is not actually that Jesus is coming, is that we are ascending into Christ consciousness. So that's what's in the 5D, is the collective consciousness within the Christ consciousness of unconditional love. And so Jesus per se is not coming, but rather we are becoming Jesus.
Right.
We, as a collective, higher consciousness within Christ consciousness, which is collective consciousness of unconditional love. And so Jesus is not coming because he's already done that. He already showed us that we as humans in a body can do this. He is the example. He is the leader of how it can be done. His message has always been, if I can do it, so can you. I am just a man in a body, just as you are. You can do this. And so I anticipate Jesus to just come more and more to people. And if this is how he's coming to you, is just like stories, like I see it as like this beautiful movie, is like, that's oftentimes how I see past lives, is like as a beautiful movie. So as we ascend into to 5D, the collective consciousness of unconditional love, Christ consciousness, this is going to be who we are, pure unconditional love, as Jesus was, as Jesus emanated, as we all are within our core. It's
right.
Times. This is just so exciting that we're here right now in a body playing on earth. So cool.
And we
so
get to
cool.
witness this and experience it, all of it, the negative and the great, and just embrace it all and have fun with it and play, because it's all a video game anyways.
Right? It's all an illusion. It's truly an illusion. Everyone looking through their own glasses, their own lenses.
Jolene's saying that you connected her with a new spirit guide, and this guide turned out to be her mom who had passed. Yeah.
That was beautiful, Jolene. Thank you for sharing that with me. Like, to see that magnificence of the earthbound being that came through. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Jolene. Lovely. Love it. I feel so blessed when people let me give them a session, because it's such an honor, because as I keep saying, when one is healed, we are all healed. Through this, you get to heal, I get to heal, and the collective gets to heal. And I'm going to point out again, like this little candle I have on my desk is the one individual, the one person, but on way back here is the big candle, which is the world. Like, when one is healed, we are all healed.
I love it.
And through transmutation of fire, through the alchemy of fire, transmutation happens, and we all ascend. It's just lovely. The whole experience is profound. Lovely. I could say it the way you did before, because that was just so eloquently put.
Well, everyone, I highly, highly recommend going to see Cheryl. I've done a lot of sessions with a lot of people, and they all have something different to offer, but I really thoroughly enjoyed Cheryl's approach. I feel she brings a sense of fun and playfulness to it. And it just feels very warm and comforting, and the information that comes through is just felt very, very resonant for me, very true for me. So yeah, if you're thinking about it, definitely reach out. I will leave her information in the description here as well, so that you can get in contact with her. And thank you again so much for joining us. And she's actually our new admin in our group too, so she's going to be around for a while.
I'm so honored. It's such a joy to be around you beautiful women. I remember telling my friend, I was like, oh my gosh, I met these amazing women. I'm so excited. It's so fun to talk and say spiritual jokes together. I actually have somebody who I can chuckle with about spiritual jokes.
It's so awesome. The soul family is coming out, that's for sure. I've been feeling it all year. I'm like, I just keep meeting amazing person after amazing person, and I'm like, my heart, I don't know if I can contain all this love.
but you can, because your heart is my heart and Jolene's heart, and we're all just, because we're all connected. We're all one. It's so true. This human experience is fabulous.
It certainly is. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we're losing some people because Liz is starting her live right now. That's why I wanted to wrap up
Okay.
at noon, because there were some people that wanted to watch both. So
Yeah.
awesome. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you have a wonderful Saturday.
Bye.
And we'll see you later for our roundtable, or at least I will. So yeah. Have a wonderful
Thank you.
day. Awesome. All right. We're still on, but the live is done. So
It's really good. Thank you.
and I'm going to stop the